Hello and well met. Welcome to the pregame hangout for the third episode of our Greymantle game. Ooh. I am Eric Scott DeB, the representative of Dungeon Scrawlers. Yang Yang Wang is up there in the sky somewhere controlling everything. And here are some of our people. You remember Allie Pitchford, obviously, and Forda is back. Welcome, Forda. Good to see you again. And we have a new player who is at least guesting on the game, and that is Manda. Good to see you, Manda. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. This is huge. I'm so excited.
All right, before she fangirls over all of us. So yeah, Manda is an old friend of mine. We actually wrote a book together, which is coming out in November, and it's called Femmes Fatale. She'll tell you all about it. It's fine. It's pretty great, and she is a pretty huge nerd. You might not be able to see it on the screen, but there are lots of posters of Star Wars stuff, specifically Leia Organa in that room. That's like the Leia room. So
the Leia room. That is true. That is true. I'm a big Star Wars nerd. I'm also a big Star Trek nerd. Gaming nerd. Shadowrun is my sort of primary gaming frame of reference.
I did not even know that about you.
How did you not know that about me as I sit here with like a Shadowrun book 3 inches from me?
I love Shadowrun. I mean, I've written for Shadowrun.
Yeah, she really does and has.
Yes.
Awesome.
Intimidated.
Don't really don't.
Anyway, yeah, I'm just a big old nerd and I'm here to make an absolute fool of myself in front of all of you lovely people tonight. And hopefully it'll be entertaining.
This will be fun.
Apparently Amanda hasn't played D&D since 1991, so
it's fine. We'll teach you.
Yeah,
we will teach you 5e.
I told her 5e is very similar to what was that? AD&D second edition?
No, it wasn't even. It was first edition.
Okay, AD&D first edition.
It was a book that we got in 1989 and like passed around our group because it was like contraband, right? I was a Southern Baptist.
Yeah,
we were not allowed to have that stuff, but we did, and we got enough dice between the group of us that we could play on the school bus. So yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. It'll be great.
That's the secret. I think none of us do, truth be told.
I've been playing this game for a couple years now, and even so, I'm sitting here going, there's entire swaths of this game that I've never touched more than like occasionally because they just don't come up in most games. Like exhaustion rules.
That's right.
They're being adorable with these books.
Exhaustion is also like just really, really brutal. So
we ran into that in our in our other 5e game that I play on Tuesday mornings. Like one of our player characters has been afflicted with a curse that it interrupts his sleep. So
oh no,
it was brutal. He was gonna die there for a minute, and then it was like, oh wait, hang on, I remember. I have a music box that negates 1 point of exhaustion if you listen to it for an hour.
Oh my god, that is very much the millennial Zoomer curse right there. Is I'm gonna mess with your sleep.
Right?
I don't think I've slept a full 6 hours or more in like
actually
3 or 4 years at this point.
Oh my god.
I think as far as the Shadowrun stuff, I think the most recent thing I wrote was I wrote the intro fiction for the third parallel, the campaign book that I think just came out recently.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Add to cart.
That was a big get for me. Intro fiction. I was just like, that was a fun one.
Yeah.
Yes. Brag about stuff to Manda. She will immediately buy it on Amazon or wherever.
I am very easily influenced. I do have an open invitation to pitch for Shadowrun, but like every time I think I'm going to, my brain comes oozing out my ears and I just can't pull the trigger. So
I mean, I kind of ran into that too a little bit. I think I bounced my initial like writing sample off of Eric a couple times when I was first sending it.
I was very encouraging. I do not want to be
Yeah.
blamed for this. I was like, yes, please send us. Yes, this is good.
Yeah. But I haven't done a lot. Like it's more like when a project pitch goes up that looks interesting, I might throw in a like some ideas and just be like, here's what I think I could write for this section. And sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't.
I
haven't
have
actually
I have some behind the scenes info on something that might happen in the future, and so I'm already plotting and scheming. I'm like,
Okay.
if this is ever a real thing, I'm gonna be so ready.
Nice. Yeah. And I've got a couple other projects that are coming up that I am still waiting to hear back on. So we'll see. I don't want to talk about it before anything happens.
Right.
That makes sense.
I haven't even signed anything yet, so I'm just like, no, let's not.
I know.
Let's not risk that.
I have a sale pending that like I've done edits for, but the contract isn't back yet. So I'm still not saying anything. Like I've spent time, I've talked to the editor, like they have all my information, but the contract is not in my inbox. So I'm not saying a word. Like y'all can't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, Eric, you know, because I sent it to you, but
Yeah,
I tell you everything.
yeah,
Let's see.
it's true. She does tell me
I told
a
him.
lot. It's true.
There's an anthology I'm thinking of pitching to. I think that was something that Yang Yang actually threw up in the one of the in the Discord. Like there was a group of anthologies that are still accepting pitches. So I need to sit down and actually finish writing something for that, because I love the idea of like haunted art.
It does sound neat.
That does sound cool.
And I was thinking of like the Greymantle. Greymantle is a perfect setting for that kind of thing, especially working Sparrow into, a short story involving some kind of haunted piece of artwork or some tchotchke, that
That's
has,
very Sparrow. That would be
Yeah.
that would be cool.
yeah.
Nice.
That's the thing I love about her. I can use her, like she has good moments, she has bad moments, and it's fun to kind of play around with who she is and what she does, and just kind of try to display that, like, gee, she's a complex person and isn't always like, at the top of her game at every possible turn. Because like the first short story I wrote with that she appears in, which should be coming out soon. The book fully funded on Kickstarter, and
Nice.
so the anthology should be coming out. She appears as a side character, so you don't get a lot of her perspective, and it's very like she's very smooth and very mysterious, and then like transition over to the novella that I'm writing on my Patreon. And I've got the first 2 chapters up, and at least in chapter 1, she is not having a good day, and it's very much from her perspective, and she's just not having a good time.
There's something really great about like making these very competent, like very seemingly confident people who are just like
Riddled with
raging
insecurity.
garbage fires. Like they just fall apart at the slightest provocation.
So
Well,
broken on the inside, so pretty
yeah.
on the outside.
That's
And
right.
I'm not afraid to like to do that, because like she's fun when she's she's fun when she's being like competent and mysterious and like cool, but she's also like a lot of fun when she's waking up drunk in a jail cell and trying to and then tries to shadow dance out of the cell and ends up like losing her lunch in a barrel, like kind of because of the vertigo. Like it's
Perhaps shadow dancing with a hangover is
it's a bad idea.
Mm.
It's a bad
but
idea.
sometimes it's your best way out of jail. So you just gotta.
Yeah.
I kind of
Like,
feel like that's an evolution that a lot of writers go through. Like we all start out with, oh man, I'm gonna make this character amazing, and it's just this, power fantasy wish fulfillment. And sooner or later, we're really interested in the people who are having shit days and
Yeah.
bad luck, and yeah,
And have been having it
Yeah.
for 20 years.
right, exactly.
well, I mean,
if it wasn't
hell,
for bad luck, she wouldn't have any at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Well, so the way I figured it, there's about a 20-year gap between what we're doing here, and the stuff I'm actually writing. And let's just say that she has a bad time.
The stuff
This
you're
is
writing
just-
is in the future, right?
Yes,
Okay.
because it's in the future.
You're a
This
and
little-
game is. Sorry.
Go on.
what's that?
This game is the start of a string of very poor decisions. Is
Oh,
that
it's
what
not
I'm
even.
hearing?
It's not even the start.
It's kind of the early middle of a series of very poor decisions.
Like there's a reason her eyes are red, and that is kind of like not that even that's not the beginning. That's like a big one. It's a big one, and it's
That's the start of the rising action.
yeah. I'm gonna write that short story at some point, but I want to leave it like kind of mysterious for now. Like I wanna touch on how that happened, but that's gonna come.
We're here for it. We're here for it. So like whenever you're ready.
Oh, honestly though, I'm excited for today. I'm excited to get back into things, especially with not just my other partners in crime back, but also new friends.
New friends.
And because that first session, the back and forth between the three characters was so much fun for me.
I went back through to rewatch it today. I didn't get all the way through, but I was on my way to work and I was just like, oh goodness, that was fun. Oh yeah, we did say that.
I watched it
Yeah.
today, and it was had caught some of it when it originally aired, and then I went back and watched the whole session today, and just like, can I dump over a giant cauldron of boiling water and like perhaps injure half the kitchen staff? There'll be a
Yeah, why not?
distraction. Yes, all the bad ideas. Be gay, do crimes, do it louder.
Exactly.
I mean,
feel like that's a-
Greymantle is supposed to be kind of a dark, somewhat depressing setting much of the time, but there are still just these great, hilarious moments, like the guy carrying off the wounded servant, and he looks over the shoulder, and he's like,
Yeah. Also, I have to say, as a person that's coming in to do a guest session, I love that y'all did session 0 stuff on the stream, where it is easily findable and watchable, so that I knew going in what the X cards would look like, what the veils were, like where the boundaries were going to be. So I knew what triggers I might need to prepare for and what triggers I didn't have to worry about because y'all had already dealt with that. Like, that is such an amazing resource for any streaming game to put out there for their viewers. Anyone that's coming in new as a viewer can know what they're not going to see. And anyone that's coming in as a guest player to know what that situation looks like that was absolutely invaluable. So thank you to everyone for doing that. That was huge. And super helpful.
Oh yeah, I loved being able to do that like on stream because it's such an important step, I think, in making sure a group works well together. And a lot of the time it happens behind the scenes. Because when you're on, a live play show like this, it's sort of thing I think that most people don't think about putting out there because it's not, it's not the story, it's not, the game they're trying to portray. It's just kind of the bookkeeping, but like it's such a big thing, and I think not enough people entirely understand why it's done or how to do it, how to do a good one. And so having that kind of example out there is nice.
And I've been on panels about gaming at conventions and been in sort of high level conversations about gaming. And a lot of people, when they're first coming to tabletop role play games, aren't even aware that that's a thing that they should do, that that's a thing that they need to do. If you're a new DM or GM, maybe your whole idea of what you need to do is come up with a story and get some friends. And just having that example out there online, easily findable of no, we also make a point to ensure player characters' emotional safety, players' emotional safety. And this is what that looks like. And this is how to have those conversations led by experienced players and a DM who has experience leading those conversations. I think that's huge for anybody who's watching who maybe has never run a game before but wants to.
Yeah, absolutely. And like it might be less necessary if you're like just a bunch of friends that have known each other forever sitting around a table, but especially in a setting like this where some of the people are relative strangers.
Yeah.
You definitely want to have that kind of level of here's where the limits are. I'm sorry, what were you saying, Forda?
I was gonna say I also enjoyed that, Eric, you started it off saying, as GM, these are things that will never come up in my games, because like a lot of times, at least in my experience, GMs will ask the players what their lines and veils are, but then don't contribute their own to it. And it's like, but you're a player too. Never forget that you're a player too. And
Right,
if we,
exactly.
as players, don't know that something is off limits, I don't want you to be upset that we crossed a line. And I also don't want to be punished because you think we are, doing it on purpose.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I also want to, part of that is also wanting to take things off the table so that no one has to mention them.
Yeah.
Like things that you're pretty obvious and pretty big. I don't want to like seem like I'm fishing for somebody to say, hey, don't have sexual assault in your game. And I'd be like, oh yeah, yeah, you're right. No, I just want to be upfront, direct, immediate about it. So I feel like that's an important thing to do.
And yeah, it allows people to be more emotionally available as players too, because you know that your triggers aren't about to be triggered, and so you can more fully invest and be really present and not be like on edge or concerned in any way that isn't organic to your character's experience, which is
And I think also part of the idea of this game and this campaign group is to, model good behavior for running a game, right? It's to like kind of show people, hey, you should be respectful of people's feelings and boundaries and whatnot at the gaming table, because it's very important. This is how you keep a game together over a period of time. If you're unintentionally violating somebody's boundaries, or worse, intentionally violating somebody's boundaries, your game is going to fall apart and you're going to have no one to blame but yourself. So yeah, I'm glad it's working out. I'm having
and also
a great
y'all
time.
are very entertaining. You're very entertaining.
My brain had follow on for that, and it just like ejected it out of one ear. And I'm just sitting here like, just elevator music playing in my head.
I'm just over here doing some dynamic lighting stuff.
Exciting. My
Oh,
goodness.
it's very exciting.
So
Oh,
where
yeah.
I left off last time, like the last time I played, we literally just watched, somebody getting like, hello, what are you doing here, by somebody very, very important and powerful. And I have so many questions. I missed last time and didn't get a chance to watch it yet. So I'm like,
Okay.
ooh, I'm so
sure
excited.
some of them will have answers.
So excited. Gosh, every time I'm just like, what's happening next? What's happening next? What's happening next? It's just like on loop in brain forever.
All right. Well, I do have a basic idea of what's going to happen. So, yeah. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but if
don't give it away yet, but I'm just
everybody who's pre-game show, we're gonna start off with answering some of those questions.
Excellent.
So before the Hangout started, we were talking about Star Wars, right? Wasn't that what we were talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Ali's abiding love of Mara Jade and how we all agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I never actually got a chance to engage with a lot of the Legends material, which is a shame because people keep coming and being like, Mara Jade, and I'm like, who is she? She sounds amazing. Why
yeah.
have I never heard of her?
She is pretty cool. You never heard of her because George Lucas doesn't like her.
Well, forget him.
She's
Yeah, I
fantastic
know.
in all the Tim Zahn books. The New Jedi Order is not bad, and she is in fact one of the reasons it's not bad because some of it's bad.
Some of it is bad, yeah.
But Mara is actually quite excellent in the New Jedi Order books. So yeah, anything that Tim wrote in Legends and then that New Jedi Order series, if you want to get to know her, the badass redhead from a galaxy far, far away, that's where you go with that.
But speaking of Star Wars, lately I've been seeing teasers again for the Knights of the Old Republic remake, and I'm just like, and when? Please give me a date. When?
Yeah, I heard that they might be in a little bit of developmental trouble with that, but I know. We'll see.
I did just put on my Princess Leia lip balm, by the way.
All hope is
Nice.
not lost. That's what I'm saying. But it's looking dicey.
That's just so upsetting. I've been waiting for 10 years. 10 years.
Well, and the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure there's some dude online who was making like his own remake of it. And then he saw that there was going to be an official remake, and he was like, well, I guess my work is done. I guess I don't need to do it. So I'm just saying, if it doesn't happen, he might go
There's
back
at
to
least
working
that.
on it.
Yeah, meanwhile, everyone's like, sir,
Please,
excuse me, sir,
please do this.
have we not learned that the official material may not be what we're looking for?
Yeah.
Oh. I was so excited for the new trilogy. There were so many things like started in the first entry that I was excited for, and then like never built up on. And I was like, hey, I was invested in like 3 characters. You made one disappear. They never showed up again. And the other 2, you sat there and said, you're not important, actually. You're just supporting cast.
The thing that bothered me about the sequel trilogy is that you could tell it wasn't actually made as a trilogy. Like, it wasn't a writer's room full of people that sat down together and figured out what the big plot arc was, and then how did it like any writing team that has worked together to do anything in parts knows how to do that. And for whatever reason, Lucasfilm was like, nah, we'll make it up as we go along, and we'll hire completely different people, and we won't have them talk to each other, and they'll just make it up. And they like counted on a level of genius. They counted on a Marshall Lucas level of genius from these people that never manifested. And so what you have are like 3 slightly connected movies with some of the same characters in them, but they really could have each been a one-off that
with
like
completely
we're
different
all made at the
characters.
same time. Like, you could have been like, all right, here, this team A, team B, and team C, everybody go make a Star Wars movie, and here's a list of characters to choose from, and then you can make up 5 of your own. Like, it didn't feel cohesive to me. And also, they should have waited and killed Han Solo in the middle movie. Those 2 things just really bother me.
You just wanted Han as long as you could get him. I understand.
I knew I could see it coming. I just really thought it was going to happen in the middle movie. I would have been okay with it happening in the middle movie, but when it happened, I was in a German movie theater, and let me tell you how differently the Germans take their cinema going experience than those of us from the United States. So that moment happened. I screamed. It was the only sound in the auditorium. I'm like sobbing into my handkerchief. I missed the next like 10 minutes of the movie. I had to ask what happened to Kylo Ren, like the 4th time I saw the movie. And my husband says, Chewie shot him. I'm like, when? When did that happen? When you were sobbing into your handkerchief. All 4 times you've seen the movie. Like, yeah, that was not a good day for me. And yeah, I saw it like 5 times in the German theater. with
All right, so Wild Jen has appeared. Yay!
Cool.
Jen, I put the
Hi,
notes about the Google Meet in the chat, but we are going to go to our before show little break. So don't go away, everyone who's hung out with us, except for you players. You can, get a drink or use the bathroom, whatever, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. So hang out.